Hello everybody, and welcome to Rain Check. We are going to be playing one of the side stories, so I think these are meant to be standalone, but I've been curious about these, so I wanted to read one of them. So we're going to be doing the first case, while helping Dust out, Javier finds a memento from his first investigation. So I guess we'll be learning about Javier, which is cute. We don't get but I guess we get a lot of screen time with him, but we don't get a lot of personal time with Javier. So let's get started. We'll just go in. Yes? Huh? Okay. I'm just about there. See you soon. The line disconnects as I maneuver the car around the busy intersection. Eventually, I turn into the familiar side street and find parking just across from Dust's building. It's that time of year again. I hope Dust doesn't need me to move too many things. I'm still recovering from last year's ordeal. Oh, yeah, I'm here. I look around, but don't see Dust behind his usual counter. He must be in the back. There's a bunch of boxes and items scattered across the cafe, haphazardly blocking my path. Hey, Dust! How are you? Oh, where are you? I hear faint shuffling in the back, causing me to turn toward the sound. I'll be right there. I'm just organizing some stock in the back at the moment. Make yourself comfy in the meantime. Okay. I carefully navigate through all of the junk splayed out and hop onto my usual seat at the bar counter. I tap my paws on the counter, waiting for Dust to appear from the from the staff door and start his tax returns for the year. I have no idea why he insists on cleaning up the same week we scheduled to do his taxes. Oh, what's this? There are a few faded photos scattered across the countertop that catch my eye. I reach over to examine them, realizing immediately that they were old photos of Dusk's cafe when he had just purchased the lot. It's been more than a decade now. I flip through the rest of the pile and see one of Dust, Ro, and me inside the cafe. When was this taken? I look so stupid in this image. I'm tempted to pocket and burn it, but I won't. Hey, I see you found the photos. I was going to surprise you with them. Dust comes up from behind the place and places a stack of boxes beside me. Well, you should have done a better job at hiding them. Fair. Need me to make you your regular? Sure. Dust turns to the machinery lined up against the wall and brews a cup of coffee for me as I continue to stare at the photo in my paw. Hey Dust, do you remember when this photo was taken? That one? I'm not sure. Give me a second. I wave the photo, trying to get Dust's attention as he grinds the beans in the machine. Should be around 2 years ago, along with everything else in the pile. They were all in a gray folder that was inside a cabinet in the back. Here. He walks over with my freshly brewed coffee and stares at the photo in my paw carefully. Ah, this photo. You really don't remember? Of course I remember. Just give me a second to collect my thoughts. You forgot, haven't you? I stare at the steaming coffee in front of me, trying to buy time as I try desperately to recall the memory. I wouldn't say I forgot. It's more like I'm trying to recall a repressed memory. Probably has something to do with how stupid I look in this photo. Why am I covered in a blanket and sneezing? You don't look bad. You look the same as you do now. The greatest compliment. Hey! You know what I mean. He takes the photo from my paw and studies it even more carefully. Ah, this photo. That security camera took this, remember? He points to the small camera mounted by the wall across from us. This was the day you introduced me to your work, and of your coworker, Ro. I concentrate harder on the machine in front of me, staring at my murky reflection as it's still too hot to drink from. It's all slowly coming back to me. Oh, look at this little awful space. I stare at the coffee on my desk and roll my eyes at the mountain of paperwork that's piled up. Yeah, why aren't these all digitized? What year are we living in? I down the cup and sift through the documents, trying to separate the accounts receivable, okay, in one neat pile. I should be able to go through at least half of this pile before lunch with the script I managed to write. The document being... The documents being... Yes, there are two beings there. I'm like, am I seeing double, or are there actually double? You know me. Processed, and the script makes quick work in organizing the data onto the spreadsheets, while I pride myself on coming up with. Which I pride myself. As I sift through the documents again, I spot a large canine standing by my cubicle, tapping his paws on the wall and watching me work. Javier. I squint my eyes, surprised by his presence. I don't think I've seen them before. Yes? Can I help you? Good. I got the right person. I'm Ro. He extends out his large paw, forcing me to angle myself over my desk to shake awkwardly. Hello, Ro. If this is about your paycheck, I was reassigned that task. You should speak with the payroll team. I know they have been having issues with that on our system, but... Not payroll. Andrew told me you could help me with a case I'm working on. I cock a brow at him, shaking my head in confusion. Is, this field work? I'm an accountant. I don't do that. This isn't what the boss told me. He said you had a knack for tech, for a lack of better words. He also told me you took the aptitude test for fun and aced it. Are we that low on resources that we've resorted to using staff like me? Alright, if you're not interested, I'll let Andrew know. Wait! I didn't say I wasn't interested. I was just surprised I'm needed for this kind of stuff. What exactly do you need me to do? We got something of a foul play case. ARC, C609. You know anything about that kind of stuff? Not off the top of my head. Give me a second to pull up the system. I enter the necessary credentials and quickly skim over the information on the case. No need. Here. The wolf tosses a folder of papers and files neatly tucked away on my desk. This is what I've managed to gather so far. It's more detailed than the crap in our database so far, mostly because I haven't had time to update it. I peruse through the folder, noting the particularity of the case. How sad. If I'm reading this correctly, we've been hired to get information on a particular death. The client suspects foul play in their partner's death. Am I correct? Yes. The victim's a 40-year-old red panda named Michael, who was apparently off to visit an old friend. Which turned out to be an ex. Michael was found dead in his garbage due to carbon monoxide poisoning shortly after, and it was ruled as a suicide. Strangely enough was that he had a substantial amount of substances in his system, but he's had a history of substance abuse before, which I guess the courier ignored. Coronors, right? That's how that's pronounced? What do we know about what kind of substance it was?
There were a few, but the highest detected, that's what that says, detected one was morphine.
Morphine? How'd he get his hands on that?
I'm not sure, but I did most of the initial investigation already, and I've managed to pinpoint where Michael's ex, Grant, lived. A large mansion complex to the north. And that's where you come in. I'll be needing your help. The place is riddled with surveillance. So, I'm going to need you to distract the cameras while we figure out which room the client's partner died in.
I raise a brow at the wolf, skeptical of how foolproof his plan is. Right. And and suppose we do find this room. You're not thinking of just breaking in and gathering evidence, are you?
What? What's this, what's with that look? You got any better ideas?
We can discuss the specifics on the ride there, I suppose. When do we have to head out? I was thinking I could finish.
Now. I'll be waiting for you in the parking lot.
Wait. Now? Why is it so last minute?
It's exactly because it was last minute that you were assigned.
I stare at the remaining unfiled documents on my desk and sigh deeply. Fine. Just give me a second to get some things. Oh, the nice comfy car. I stare nervously at my paws as Rose speeds down the freeway. Every bump turn makes me grip the seat tighter, anxiety clawing at my mind. Why did I agree to this? I cast the occasional glance over at the wolf, surprised at how he's able to fit himself in such a vehicle with his large size. It's been quiet since we left the office, which our only exchanges being brief and work-related.
Hey.
Yes?
How long have you been working at ARC? I don't think I've seen you around.
In just a couple of months now.
I see. It's been the same for me.
Right.
You're awfully quiet. You're nervous going on your first case.
No, I'm not. I'm thinking about the paperwork I need to finish when I get back. Also, will I be required to exert myself? Because I prefer not to if I have the choice.
That depends on what you mean by exert.
What I'm trying to say is that I think I should leave the laborious tasks to you, since you seem to be more fitted for that.
You got a medical condition or something?
Something like that.
Can you run at least?
Yes, but not for long. It's exhausting. The conversation naturally dies down, and the awkward silence returns. Not that I mind. The drive continues before Ro decides to speak up again.
So, how long have you been married?
My face flushes from confusion as I glare at Ro's question. Okay. Excuse me?
The ring on your paw.
Oh, this. I pull the small silver ring off my right paw, and fidget with it. No, this is just something I made recently. So I just bought and then overwrote the hardware.
So you've hacked it?
I suppose you can say that. It's a smart ring. And, I'm not married.
A smart ring, huh? And, what exactly can it do?
A lot. But I've yet to test most of its features in a more applied setting. It uses the Rapid Understanding and Diagnostic Yield Framework. RUDY, for short.
Oh, okay.
I'm designing some blueprints to transform this into a pair of glasses, when I get the time. The wolf nods slowly, and not taking his eyes off the road, but I can see some confusion forming on his face with what I just said. Anyways, What about you? Are you married? I cringe at myself when I realize I had returned the question out of courtesy, without even thinking.
No. I'm single. Haven't found the right guy.
I see. My gaze glances to my paws as I sit quietly, taking in the fact that my investigation partner is a homosexual. Oh, a terrible thing for certain.
We can change the topic. I was going to ask earlier, how do you find this position at ARC? Because I know we don't advertise our listings online.
Through a friend. I was told ARC needed more accountants.
And what are you doing before, if you don't mind me asking?
Freelance work as a financial advisor. The pay was sporadic, so I wanted something more stable.
Makes sense.
Well, what about you? He chuckles back and gives me a wink, causing me to fluster.
I'd rather not say. It wasn't anything important anyway.
I decide to respect his boundaries and not press further. The rest of the drive is quiet, and we eventually make our way to the point of interest.
Here we are. We can make the rest of the trek on foot. Follow me. I managed to find a path the other day.
There's an opposing mansion off in the distance, with copious amounts of greenery protecting the inside from prying eyes. If I'm not mistaken, this street is one of the wealthier in the city.
Nice.
I suppose, if we have no choice. The wolf signals me to follow him to the hidden path between some trees, and that's when I realize how truly big he is. Best to stay close to him in case something happens. I've never done anything like this before. We walk around the perimeter of the mansion's tall metal fencing, safely hidden within the bushes and trees. At first glance, it appears no one is home, with how vacant the lot looks, but mansions like this can be deceptive.
Let's stop here before we get any closer and go over the plan. I'll need you to go through the main gate and ring the intercom, making your way to the main entrance. Based on what I observed the past week, there shouldn't be anyone home until later this evening, besides a tall, husky butler named Times, who also watches the cameras. While you're distracting Times, I'll be around the back attempting to gain access through the faulty backdoor gate. I'll make my way up to the room where I suspect Michael was murdered, and see what evidence I can gather. Sound good?
You're kidding, right?
No.
Is this the kind of tactics you've been using for the past couple months? I'm surprised you haven't jeopardized or got ARC sued yet, with how outlandish your methods are. It's uncoordinated, tactless, and downright dangerous. The wolf shakes his head at me in annoyance.
You got any better ideas, then?
Well, for starters, even if we distract Times, there's no guarantee that our presence won't be recorded and found at a later date. Plus, do we even have permission to snoop around people's private property? This seems extremely illegal.
The paperwork has already been cleared to investigate the property.
But... Ro pauses, looking at the mansion before returning to me.
We're technically allowed to enter their house, but we need to make our presence known since there's no other way to go about it.
Were you thinking of sneaking into their house to gather evidence? Have all of your plans so far been just brute force things and hope they magically work out? We don't even have an escape plan or a contingency plan in case something goes wrong. He lets out a long and deep groan and reluctantly nods at me.
Save your lecturing. You clearly have something in mind. What is it?
I suggest we swap roles. You distract Times at the door, and I'll be the one to search the room. For the escape, we can backtrack our steps. Just make sure I'm the first one out of the mansion before anything.
What? You don't know the layout of this mansion at all. You'll get lost.
I take out my bit flipper and flash my ring at Ro, smirking.
And what the hell is that? You some kind of spy or something?
Just trust me on this. I'll be fine. Besides, may I remind you that you came to me for help? He strokes his beard. Do we call that a beard? Seems like more like a goatee to me. We can call that a beard. Ultimately, patting me on the shoulder.
Fine. You better impress me then. Follow the gate until it verges, and take a left towards the back door. Based on what I was able to find out, Michael could have been murdered in the third-story master bathroom, or second-story guest bedroom by the second flight of the stairs. You got that?
Yes, third story master bathroom, second story guest bedroom by the second flight of stairs.
Alright then. Keep an eye on your phone. I'll contact you on the proxy network if anything happens. I'll distract Times for as long as I can at the front.
The wolf turns around and returns toward the path's entrance. Let's see what this back door is. I follow the small, winding trail behind the undergrowth until I hit a clearing. So, this is where the backyard. This must be their backyard, sorry. I spot a large gate that separates the fencing. This must be the back door Ro was talking about. I reach into my pocket to fetch the bit flipper, setting it to manual mode and start scanning the area for any hits. As I surmised, this path is riddled with cameras. That's not a problem for me, though. I aim the bit flipper towards the mansion where most of the spikes in activity is by the a monitor on the ring, and disable them one by one until the area is silent on the radar. Easy as that, and the wolf is going to storm in there, completely detected. I walk over to the gate and notice that the security latch has been rusted away. So this is what the wolf meant. I slip through carefully, trying not to make too much noise as I make a beeline for the back entrance. A smile slowly spreads across my face as I realize the doorknob is electrically locked. I point the bit flipper that's still in my paw and aim it directly down the dead center of the handle. This is too easy. Ah, it's Ro. Perfect timing. A pair approaching the front gate. I hastily tap back a reply, asking for a signal, while watching my surroundings. A few seconds pass before I hear the doorbell ring. That must be my cue. I quickly sneak inside, removing my ring and toggling its settings as I go. Okay, everyone, I'm going to end the part here for today, so I hope you've all enjoyed, and I'll see you guys around.